Princess and the Frog. In a kingdom far away, there lived a kind-hearted princess named Lila. She had everything a princess could want, except for one thing, a friend her age. The princess spent her afternoons by the palace pond, playing with her golden ball. One day, as Princess Lila was playing, her ball bounced too high and fell into the pond. The pond was too deep and murky, and no matter how much she tried, she couldn't retrieve it. Tears welled up in her eyes, thinking about her lost treasure. Suddenly a voice spoke. "Why do you cry, fair princess?" Startled, Princess Lila looked around and saw a green frog with big, kind eyes staring at her. "My golden ball has fallen into the pond, and I can't get it back," she replied. The frog thought for a moment and said, "I can retrieve your ball, but only if you promise to be my friend and let me live in the palace with you." Thinking it to be a small price for her precious ball, Lila quickly agreed. "Yes, I promise. Please get my ball." The frog dove deep into the pond and, after a few moments, returned with the golden ball. Lila was overjoyed and quickly grabbed it. But in her excitement, she forgot her promise and ran back to the palace, leaving the frog behind. That evening, as the royal family sat down for dinner, there was a soft knock on the palace door. The butler opened it to find the frog waiting. "I've come to live with Princess Lila," he croaked. Lila was embarrassed and tried to turn the frog away, but her parents, having learned of the promise she'd made, insisted she keep her word. Reluctantly, Lila let the frog dine with them and later even shared her room. As days turned into weeks, the frog, with his gentle nature and amusing tales from the pond, won Lila's heart. They played together, laughed, and soon became inseparable. Lila realized that the frog was the friend she had always wished for. One morning, as the sun's first rays shone, there was a brilliant flash of light, and where the frog stood, there now was a young prince. He explained that he had been cursed by a wicked witch and turned into a frog. Only the true friendship of a kind-hearted soul could break the spell. Princess Lila and Prince Leo, as he was called, soon fell in love. They were a testament to the kingdom that true beauty is found within, and that promises made should always be kept. The two lived happily ever after, always reminding everyone of the magical bond that formed from a simple promise by the pond. The Sleeping Beauty. Once upon a time, in a kingdom far away, there was a beautiful princess with hair like the darkest night and skin as fair as dawn. Her parents, the king and queen, named her Aurora, which means dawn, because her smile brought light into their lives. When Princess Aurora was born, the kingdom rejoiced. To celebrate her birth, the king and queen threw a grand party and invited everyone in the land, including the magical fairies. Each fairy gave Princess Aurora a gift, like beauty, grace, and intelligence. But before the last fairy could give her gift, the party was interrupted by the uninvited Malicia, a forgotten fairy who was upset for not being invited. Malicia, in her anger, cast a spiteful spell on Princess Aurora. "On her 16th birthday," she cackled, "the princess will prick her finger on a spinning wheel and fall into a sleep from which she will never awaken." And with that, Malicia vanished. The last fairy, who had not given her gift yet, stepped forward. Although she couldn't undo the curse completely, she softened it. When Princess Aurora pricks her finger, she will not die. Instead, she will fall into a deep sleep, and only a true kiss of love will awaken her, she declared. The king and queen, desperate to protect Princess Aurora, ordered every spinning wheel in the kingdom to be destroyed. Princess Aurora grew up, unaware of the curse, and became a lovely, kind, and cheerful young woman. On the eve of her 16th birthday, while exploring the castle, Princess Aurora found an old hidden room with a strange object, a spinning wheel. As if guided by some unseen force, she touched the needle, and just as the curse predicted, she pricked her finger and fell into a deep sleep. The good fairy, seeing this, cast a spell to put the entire kingdom to sleep, so that they would awaken only when Princess Aurora did. Over time, a thick forest grew around the castle, shielding it from the outside world. Years passed until one day, a prince from a neighboring kingdom, Prince Philip, heard about the legend of the sleeping princess. Driven by curiosity and something that felt like destiny, Philip fought his way through the forest, found the castle, and made his way to the chamber where Princess Aurora lay. Seeing her for the first time, he was struck by her beauty and grace. Remembering the tales of her curse and what could break it, Prince Philip leaned down and kissed Princess Aurora gently on the lips. At that moment, the spell was broken. Princess Aurora's eyes fluttered open, and she greeted her savior with a smile. The entire kingdom awoke, and everyone rejoiced. Prince Philip and Princess Aurora soon fell in love and decided to get married, uniting their kingdoms in peace and happiness. And so, Princess Aurora and Prince Philip lived happily ever after, reminding everyone that sometimes a little bit of love is all we need to awaken the beauty and joy in our lives. Rapunzel. Once upon a time, in a land filled with the magic of nature, there stood a tall stone tower with no doors and only one window at the very top. In this tower lived a young girl with the most extraordinary hair. It was long, golden, and it shimmered like the sun's rays. Her name was Rapunzel, and she had been placed there by a wicked witch who wanted to keep her away from the world. Rapunzel was not ordinary, for her hair held a secret. It could heal and renew. The witch, whose name was Gothel, used Rapunzel's hair to keep herself young and powerful. Every day, Gothel would stand at the base of the tower and call out, "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair." And Rapunzel would drop her long braided locks through the window so Gothel could climb up. Despite her confinement, Rapunzel grew to be a bright and cheerful young girl. She spent her days singing with the birds, talking to the wind, and dreaming of the world beyond her window. She longed to touch the grass, to feel the rain, and to see the land that was just out of reach. One day, a prince was riding through the forest when he heard Rapunzel's enchanting voice. Curious, he followed the sound and discovered the hidden tower. He watched as Gothel used Rapunzel's hair to climb up and decided to try the same after the witch had gone. "Rapunzel, Rapunzel, let down your hair," he called. Surprised to see someone other than Gothel, Rapunzel was at first frightened, but the prince spoke to her with kindness and told her of the outside world. Day after day, he returned to hear her stories and share his own. They grew to care deeply for each other. Together, they hatched a plan. The prince would bring Rapunzel a strand of silk each time he visited, which she would weave into a ladder. But before their plan could come to fruition, Gothel discovered a silk strand and realized what Rapunzel was planning. In a rage, she cut off Rapunzel's hair and cast her out into the wilderness to fend for herself. When the prince came to rescue Rapunzel, Gothel let the cut hair down to trap him. But he escaped her grasp, and in the process, he fell from the tower into a thorn bush which blinded him. Desperate and unable to see, he wandered through the lands, searching for his beloved Rapunzel. Years passed until one day, the prince heard a familiar voice singing. Following the sound, he found Rapunzel. She had not been idle in her exile. She had learned to survive and thrive in the natural world. And now she had 2 children, which she had found lost in the wild, a boy and a girl. As they embraced, Rapunzel's tears fell upon the prince's eyes, and the magic in her tears healed his blindness. The prince could see again, and he saw his family before him. Overjoyed, he brought Rapunzel and their children back to his kingdom. There, Rapunzel's hair grew back, as golden as before. The magic of her hair was no longer a secret to be hoarded, but a gift to be shared. They all lived happily, and the kingdom flourished because at its heart was a family united by love and the magic of healing. And so Rapunzel and the prince, with their children and their land, thrived. For they knew that the true magic was not just in Rapunzel's hair, but in the love they shared and the hope they gave to everyone around them. Thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed this story, don't forget to like and subscribe for more.